Hey church family, great to be with you for the second day of our Lent video series. I'd love you to turn to Psalm chapter 2, hit pause and give it a read for me, and I'm just going to share two things that really stood out from this chapter. Okay, number one, Jesus is in charge of all the nations. The nations belong to Jesus. That's what it says in verse 8. Ask of me and I will make the nations your heritage and the ends of the earth your possession. Now when these words were originally written, it was written of the Davidic king, of King David and the sons that came after him. But actually the early church interpreted Psalm chapter 2 as a prophetic song, a prophetic prayer about the king that God would put on the throne that we know is fulfilled through Jesus of Nazareth. He is the king that God has made to be the name above all names, the ruler of all the nations. And so it brings us confidence, it brings us boldness to know that Jesus is king over all the nations. So whether it's the bombings in Syria, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the new government in Honduras, the mudslides in Brazil, and all the other things that are going on in America and the Middle East and Australasia and all over the earth, the nations belong to Jesus. And he will bring about his glorious purpose on the earth. That is the confidence and the boldness that we can have in our prayers. And so Psalm 1 introduces us at the beginning of the Psalms to this personal dynamic of a personal faith and relationship with God. And then Psalm 2 introduces this concept of the purposes of God and God's kingdom over all the nations. Our faith is played out on an international canvas. And so God is drawing you in to the truth that his king is ruler over all. But I also love verse 11. I love the dichotomy it has in that right at the end. It says, serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. That part of a healthy relationship with God is this beautiful mixture, this tension, this connectivity between rejoicing, joy, connection, grace, love, intimacy, but also trembling, a reverence, an awe, a recognition of God's awesomeness and greatness. That Jesus kind of summed this up beautifully in the Lord's Prayer, the first when he said, when you pray, say, Father, hallowed be your name. That sense of closeness, connection, joy, love, but also the greatness and majesty and holiness of God. I love how C.S. Lewis describes it in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, where the beavers are talking about Aslan, the king of the whole wood. And Lucy is like, oh, he's a lion. Is he safe? And the beavers reply, no, he's not safe, but he is good. He's the king. Our God isn't safe, but he is good. He is the ruler over all the nations. So let's know him with rejoicing and with trembling.